I'm
I'm excited, but I mean,
I'm like
as
super
soon as I
pumped
get it
for that.
working, then I guess I could do it.
You'll have to hit me up.
Yeah. All right.
It shouldn't be too hard to set up. DS emulators are pretty easy nowadays, from what I've heard.
Yeah. I just haven't gotten the ROM yet.
Uh,
All right.
I don't know where you get the ROM.
I guess Vim's Lair.
They're pretty reputable, right?
Yeah. All right. I put the link. The link's already in the.
Twitch chat, the Discord.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It's a little farther up.
Oh, same link.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm on the air.
Yep.
All right. Oh, here we go.
All right. Before we do this, I know you're not gonna be able to hear this, but like if for like once, well, never mind actually, but I think I could get the alert to show up, like the subscribe alert.
Yeah.
So let me do this.
That's different from the follower alert, right?
No, wait, it is the follow alert.
All right.
Never
Do you
mind.
want me to
The
unsubscribe
alert's
and
not. No, it's fine. I wanted to see if I could like replay it manually, but never mind. All right. All right. So part 8.
We're picking up from are the VODs of parts 1 2 still up?
Yep.
We're picking up from where we left off with parts 1 and 2. So if you're wondering, so you might want to. So we covered the stands for parts 3 through 7 and those parts.
Yep.
And now we're up to part 8.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Right now, this is like Omega. This is even more spoilery than the other parts because this is still going on. I mean.
Oh yeah.
I
Also,
think
this is like.
I think at this point, I feel like JoJolian's definitely in like its final arc. I'm pretty sure. Like we are definitely in final battle territory right now in JoJolian.
Oh yeah, this is like mega spoil. Just a warning, yeah, this is like mega spoilers, especially because like Joseph said, this is this is an ongoing arc.
Right, and definitely we're gonna start with spoilers with Soft and Wet.
Oh yeah, so this is at the very beginning. This is your last chance. If you don't want spoilers for part 8, turn back now. We will be covering them.
All right, let's start with Soft and Wet. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I noticed that they have both Josuke's Soft and Wet and Josefumi's Soft and Wet before it fused with Killer Queen.
And oh damn, we're jumping right into the spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So this Soft and Wet. This is the one that's after it fused with Killer Queen. So you have the plunder ability, make the bubble, and trap aspects of things inside of the bubble. We don't get to see him use this a lot. I feel like we haven't really seen him use plunder since I think the really early first part of JoJolian. But also the bubbles. Apparently, if you're close enough to the bubbles, they could pop with enough force to like pretty much detonate, kind of like Killer Queen.
But like much less effective.
I mean, yeah, but it'll still do like. I'm pretty sure he almost killed somebody by popping the bubbles.
Oh dang!
Yeah. Got plunder, can make the bombs.
Josuke would never kill.
Well, I think Josuke is probably the most morally gray JoJo we have right now, right next to Giorno.
Really? Why?
Because he really doesn't hesitate on killing people he thinks are evil.
Huh.
Yeah, like in the very first enemy that they fight in JoJolian, like he straight up like tortures information out of him.
Oh damn!
And keep in mind, he is essentially like a day old. All right. And this is getting into super spoiler territory. for the pretty much the most recent JoJolian chapter. So there also is Soft and Wet Go Beyond, which apparently, and this will be pretty confusing because we don't have much information about it, but I think it's important to mention here that Soft and Wet apparently has access to the spin.
Really?
Yes. The bubbles that Soft and Wet creates are, in reality, it is a singular string spinning at incredibly high high speeds, and to the untrained eye, it will appear as a bubble. And apparently, what happens is that it's called the explosive spin, and it
Goes boom.
well, kind of. Gives go beyond properties that transcend the limits of ordinary physics. According to Mamazuku, these bubbles don't exist in this world. These bubbles can phase into and cross through any barrier. It is later shown to the greater effect when it is used to go beyond bridges, the distance between the University Hospital and Higashikata Estate. And here's the thing, that these bubbles, when they're also able to, like, when we get to Wonder of You, they're also able to, like, bypass Wonder of You's ability, and at the same time, they can essentially, like, erode surfaces very quickly, and we saw Toru get hit with one, and, like, he got hit with it twice, and the first one almost killed him. Like, it burrowed itself into his chest, and he got flung back, like, 10 feet.
Oh my god.
But I'm not sure if we want to count the explosive spin yet, because we don't know much about it.
I say for now we'll just count Soft and Wet as is.
Yeah, which I think by itself, Soft and Wet is definitely an A.
It's a lot like Killer Queen, right?
Yeah. And, like,
Which, did we put Killer Queen at A or S?
Killer Queen is at S, but that's including Bites the Dust and Sheer Heart Attack.
Yeah, that's including all of those. So, which of course Killer Queen would be S in that case.
Yeah, but the thing is that this Soft and Wet, I feel like it's on the same level of Crazy Diamond, where it's, like, essentially utility over raw strength. I mean, Crazy Diamond still has raw strength, but, like, its utility does, like, outperform its raw strength at times.
Yeah, I'd say Crazy Diamond's honestly probably better than Star Platinum.
Yeah, I feel honestly that, like, Crazy Diamond, Soft and Wet, and Tusk are probably my favorite JoJo stands. Crazy Diamond and Soft and Wet, both because, like imagine the uses with both of these. They were like the possibilities with both of these stands are pretty, like, limitless. All right, fun. Having most possibly the worst name in JoJo. It is. I think I explained this to you at one point, but fun. What happens is that any person that is directly underneath the stand and the user will be able to control parts of their body that have an open wound on them.
That's honestly. Haven't we covered a stand like that before?
I mean, there's a lot of situational stands here, but I think this one is, like...
What about the one from, like, part 3? What was that one where it's, like, the mist?
Oh, you mean Justice?
Yeah, Justice.
I guess, yeah.
Fun sounds super to me. Like, any stand like that just feels so really situational.
It is. Also the fact that, like, the user, in order to use the most out of this ability, because this happens in Yoshikage Kira's apartment. So, pretty much what he does is that, like, a week before the events of Part 8, he ends up putting traps all over the room, like blades in slippers and stuff, essentially making it so that if anyone was to touch it, they would get an open wound. And he bought the apartment above Kira's apartment. Like, honestly, it's way too much work to get this stand to work effectively.
Oh yeah.
I think honestly, this like it, this
You
like
really
an
have to
E.
perfectly set it up to not even like
Yeah,
for like one shot at a fight.
yeah. All right, yeah. Fun is definitely an E tier, and I think we have another E tier. California King Bed. I need to get more specific with this one, but basically, California King Bed can steal part of someone's memories if they break a rule set by the user. The rule set by the user can be anything from being overly concerned about the user's well-being to being wary of what she does as an enemy. The user must be sure that the rule is broken in order to steal a memory. When activated, the stolen memories are materialized in the shape of a chess piece. The stolen memory itself can vary in nature. It can be the memory of a dream, or the memory of a particular event, or the memory of a particular subject, object, or person. And the target will forget what the memory is about. And by touching the chess piece, the user can... I'm streaming. Close the door.
Yeah.
1 second. Hi.
Oh.
I'm streaming.
He's live on Twitch.tv. Who is that?
Sorry, that was my sister.
Mom, get out of my room. I'm streaming on Twitch.tv.
I'm streaming Minecraft.
I'm streaming I'm streaming Roblox.
I'm streaming Roblox.
I'm getting free Robux.
Yeah. Alright. And so pretty much California King Bed takes the memories of a person, puts them into a chess piece, and if somebody who has their memories taken steps on the shadow of the user, then they get their memories returned back to them.
That's incredibly convoluted.
I honestly think this is an F tier stand.
That sounded so good for a moment.
I mean,
until you brought up the thing about the shadows.
Yeah, like honestly, like the only
F tier, maybe E. Honestly, I think F is a little harsh.
Yeah, it is E tier. Honestly, that like this one is pretty much. I think the only interesting thing that it did is that it took away Josuke's memory of being able to use his stand.
What was like the thing? What with the thing with the sets of rule?
It's essentially like it has to set rules. It has, in order to use this ability, it has to actively set a rule with itself that if somebody that's near the user does a certain thing that happens to be the rule, then they get their memories taken away.
That's potentially like you could set like any rule though, right?
Yeah.
Or is there a certain constraint?
I don't know. We don't get to see a lot of this stand, so we don't really get
like,
much closure on that.
So busted, but like also
not at the same time.
But like also like it could also just be total ass. Like
yeah.
But like the thing is like it depends on the rules that can be set, and I just don't feel we know enough.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume there's like a certain constraint to it, because if it was just any rule, there'd be no winning against it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll put it in E tier.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen California King Bed in literally almost a decade. All right.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah. All right. This next one. All right.
Man, I can't wait to see California King Bed come back. My favorite stand.
All right, this next one. I'm excited about this next one. Born This Way, or Going Underground, depending on your persuasion. But what Born This Way does is that it's an automatic stand that rides a motorcycle. And what happens?
That's already S tier.
Yeah, but get this. the the user can set it to target somebody, and what happens is that if the target opens anything around them, then the stand will come out of the thing that it opened. So you say you open a pen cap, that stand comes like running out of the pen cap. You open a door, it
Oh,
comes out
that's
the door.
so cool.
Yeah, you open your phone, it comes out of the phone.
Dude, that's so cool.
The only things that like it's only like physical openings. Like if you open your eyes, open your mouth, it won't come out of there. But also, once it does that, it also has the ability of creating like frost wind. So it makes like this high-powered wind that comes out of the bike. And what it does is that it pretty much freezes anything in front of it, and it's able to cause like large amounts of snow to just like appear, and also freeze things shut. No, freeze things in place. The stand itself is also very durable.
And you can pretty much stick it on anyone, anywhere.
Yep.
I want to put that in A tier.
I honestly do think it's A tier.
I don't think it has the kick to be S.
Yeah.
But I think that's a solid A tier stand.
Yeah, honestly.
Because that's so versatile.
Yeah. Well, Born This Way is really cool. It's like also falls into the plight of JoJo, and we get a lot of cool stands that we don't really get to see again.
Where would you rank JoJo overall?
I mean, right now, I want to say, okay, I can't think of it right now, but let me like rank the other parts, just so you could like get a good grasp of where it is. So I want to say like, for me personally, you got Part 7, Part 4, Part 7, Part 4, Part 8, Part 5, Part 6, 3, 2, and 1. So Part 8 is like my third favorite.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Alright, ooh, I like this one. Paisley Park. So, Paisley Park is really cool. I really like Paisley Park. So, pretty much what Paisley Park can do is that she can go into... She could, like, enter into electronics and manipulate them. So, she could go into a GPS and point people in certain directions. She can also travel inside the internet to gain information through web pages. She could also transfer things through 2 different phones. So the example is in the most recent chapter. Josuke shoots one of his bubbles through the phone that he's using, and then the user, Yasuho, aims the phone at the enemy so that the bubble comes out of the phone.
I see.
Yeah.
So it can transfer things through phones. What else does it do?
It could, like, it's mainly, a lot of it is used as reconnaissance, so it could, like, enter inside the world, inside the internet, and, like, in under seconds, it went through, like, over, like, 100 web pages to find out, like, information on a specific person.
Oh, I see. That's an interesting one to rank, because on one hand, it doesn't have any physical strength, it seems.
Well, yeah. I mean, we never really shown it, like, fight. It's only mainly used to assist people.
Other hand, it has incredible assist abilities.
It has,
especially for the time period in which it exists.
Yeah. I want to say this.
I want to put it in A tier for, like, that alone.
I mean, I think it would go for A tier if it was able to fight. But since it can't fight, I think it sits firmly in B tier because it has great utility.
Just think about the power of being able to go through the internet so quickly, or transfer anything between phones.
Well, yeah, but like,
what's the distance on how it could transfer?
Like the range?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I think it's incredibly long though.
It can't be like across states, countries.
I'm not sure. I mean, we've only been shown them being in a small town.
But I almost want to put it in A, just because of how good its assist
Now
abilities
that you
are,
meant,
its utility is.
yeah, I could go for A. Honestly,
Like,
Paisley Park is one of my like right next to Sticky Fingers and Weather Report. Paisley Park has to be one of my favorite JoBro stands.
I see, I see.
Yeah. All right.
It sounds like such a cool stat. I mean, you're the expert here, so where do you think it stands?
I think it stands an A. Honestly, like throughout the
Because
story,
it's
it's
just
been
a
incredibly useful.
yeah, it's just a bit of a tough one to rank because it's
It's pretty much just utility.
it's just utility and also it's context dependent. But in the context it exists in, it's incredible.
Yep. That's pretty much how that works. All right. Autumn Leaves. I think this is called Autumn Leaves, but it has like a Spanish name. It's called like Les Fuelas or something.
Yeah.
But I think it is translated to Autumn Leaves. All right. Oh god, this is like a Sugar Mountain situation. So where it's like a weird phenomenon, urban legend type stand. So I'm just gonna like, all right. So, uh, the Autumn Leaves is technically the stand of a certain road called the Shakedown Road. And what happens is that it hides under these certain like leaves, like these patches of leaves on the ground. And anyone who steps on those leaves will be transported from one end of the path to another. So say there's like a long path of leaves spanning over like 10 feet, and you step both of your feet on the first part of it, you'll get transported to the end of it.
That's it.
Yeah,
That doesn't even do anything.
uh, I the whole Shakedown Road arc is pretty weird
It
because
just kind of it's like, oh no, I'm on the other side of the road now. Okay,
yeah,
spooky.
honestly that's like an F. Honestly,
That's an F.
I
It doesn't even do anything.
yeah. Honestly, I think like the context behind behind the stand is more interesting than the actual stand itself. Like this stand came to be after Johnny shot himself with the infinite rotation and and the holy corpse, and then I guess the holy corpse power somehow and the infinite rotation combined somehow ended up giving the road a stand.
Hey,
I guess.
shit's crazy.
Also, the fact that Johnny's body is buried in Morio, and based on his actions in the flashback during Part 8, he might be considered a saint, which might be why there's so many people with stands in Morio.
Huh. What do you mean by he's considered a saint?
Well, the whole thing with the Holy Corpse was that like the corpse of the saint gave people supernatural powers, and it's shown that like other countries have the corpses of saints, and they also have powers, but not as like not as potent as the Holy Corpse in Part 7, but based on Johnny's actions, he might be considered a saint, which might have caused his corpse to gain supernatural powers.
Ah, I see, I see.
I mean, that's just a fan theory that's going around right now. We don't really know much about. Uh, yeah. Pretty much.
It's yet to be confirmed.
Yeah. All right. Nut King Call. Nut King Call is kind of similar to a Sticky Fingers in a sense. So what Nut King Call does is that um, I just need to look at the wiki again. So it plants nuts and bolts in a target, and it creates functioning artificial joints. And when a nut is removed from a bolt, which may be done almost instantly, the object breaks up and is disassembled. When applied to humans, the process of dismantling body parts appears painless. These separations seem to undo themselves when a target is out of range, as seen when a thug accosting Joshu finds his hand reattached when Josuke flees. So essentially what it could do is that it could essentially detach people's body parts.
That sounds like a B tier ability, honestly.
I mean, honestly, I mean, it falls under the similar rank of the hand, where it would be greatly used if it had a user other than Joshu, honestly. But like in general,
Well,
Nut Can Call is really interesting.
I mean, we're ranking the stand itself. Like, not, like I guess if you think about it, would it be? I mean, you could just leave the area. What if he just attaches your legs?
I mean, yeah, he could do that.
Actually, that's just that might just be S.
I don't think it's S. I do think it's B tier because its range is like incredibly short.
And it doesn't have that factor to make up for it that the hand does.
Nope. But I think it is a solid B tier ability.
The hand is just like insane in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel the two are really in the same league.
Yeah. Alright, Paper Moon King. Paper Moon King is interesting. What Paper Moon King does is that the user can use this ability on a person. And for that person, he could change a certain aspect of their perception of the world. So the example is that on Yasuho, the user uses his ability on Yasuho so that she can't differentiate people's faces. So everyone's face looks the same. Also, it was able to there was this enemy that they were fighting, and he ended up making it so that for this enemy, every single object and person that he saw looked exactly the same, and ended up getting the enemy hit by a bus because he couldn't differentiate that it was a person or a bus. It has no physical form. It doesn't have any combat abilities, but the fact that it could just make your perception of reality false is just really overpowered.
Do you put that in A or S?
I want to say A.
I want to say A too.
Because
S is purely can you beat cars.
Yeah, I think you could like at least do some.
You could justify some scenario in which it beats cars, but at that point, I feel we're really stretching it.
Yeah.
But you could but like it's one of those stands where you could justify a scenario in which it beats anything.
Yeah, honestly, not Paper Moon King is really cool. All right, King Nothing. This is another really cool stand that is barely utilized. So, pretty much what it does is that it's composed of like essentially jigsaw puzzle pieces. And what it does, its main ability is called scent tracking, and it's able to register the scent of a particular person or object and track their location like a hound. When exposed to an object, King Nothing will envelop it with its jigsaw pieces and memorize the scent of the object in question or someone who touched it. Then it will automatically pursue the scent even if the user isn't aware of its activation, and can either follow the trail of a person's scent until it arrives at their current location, or be kept dormant and automatically be attracted to the scent. King Nothing can remodel itself to recreate an object or person it is trailing. It does this by attaching pieces of its jigsaw pieces to articles of clothing belonging to the target or surfaces the target has recently come in contact with.
That was a lot to digest.
It is, honestly.
So it can track the target based on their scent, right?
Yep.
Just based on their scent?
Yep. It could also like reform its body into the target or object it's tracking.
I mean, that sounds, I guess, alright. What's it do once it captures its target?
Nothing.
What do you... nothing? What?
It kind of just like... It's best to use as like, alright, so I have a guy that could fight, and we don't know where the enemy is. So I'm going to lead the guy who can fight to the enemy by tracking his scent.
So stupid. It tracks the dude and it can't even do anything?
Yeah.
I don't want to say F. Because the tracking's not that bad.
Yeah.
but like, I
It's
don't
like,
know. Is
man,
E fair?
I want to say this is like an E tier ability, honestly.
Like borderline F, but I happen to be feel like it's borderline F, but I just can't
Yeah.
put it. But it's just not completely
Yeah.
useless.
Also, the fact that it has one of the most interesting designs in the series, and it's pretty much only used for one fight, and we never see it again.
Fight in quotation marks.
I
Because it
mean,
doesn't even fight.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's part of a fight. Okay, this next one. We're getting into the rock
So
humans.
what's the point of? But my question is, what's the point of turning it into the user, into the target?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
Rocky was
Rocky
feeling
just
like
wanted to be like, well, he's made out of jigsaw pieces. So what if I had him shapeshift his body?
Rocky just kind of felt like it that day.
Yeah, I feel like the shapeshifting kind of makes it more interesting than it's just being scent tracking.
Yeah, but like, what's that shape-shifting? But it doesn't really seem to do anything, does it?
No, not really.
I don't know. It's a weird. It's
Yeah. All right.
it's a thing.
Yeah. All right. All right. I am a rock. Okay. So what I am a rock does is that when the user touches someone, the victim begins to naturally attract specific objects toward them. After being touched, the victim will have objects slowly converging towards them with exponential speed and strength as the objects approach. The objects will eventually come in contact with the victim and push into the flesh towards the center of the body. And the user can only have them be attracted by one type of object.
What do you mean?
So pretty much he touches the target, and from there they happen to be in a place where there's a lot of flower pots around. So after activating its ability, only the flower pots will be attracted to them.
He specifically chooses what object is attracted.
Yes, but it can only be one object at a time.
That's honestly a pretty good stand.
I do think, but it does require the fact that you have to have a lot of the same object in an area.
And also, but it, like, pushes into their flesh.
I mean, yeah. I think this is honestly like a C tier ability. Cause like,
I want to say almost to be.
I think the fact that it's only specific types of objects does kind of limit it a bit. Because like, if it was just any objects in their general vicinity, then that's pretty much.
That'd be busted.
Yeah, but the fact that it's only one specific type of object.
Well, I'm just looking around my room right now and thinking of various things he could kill me with using the stand.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it really depends on the environment that they're in.
I guess, but I feel it's surprisingly flexible. Yeah. I'd argue for maybe putting it in B, but I won't argue too much with C.
I feel like C is a good spot for it because aside from that, it can't really do much.
But it pushes it into the center, into their body, and kills them.
Well, yeah, but once you get closer, and if you could avoid being touched by the user, then you've pretty much won.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
C is fair.
Yeah. All right.
Just don't get hit.
Pretty much. All right. Speed King. Bro, we're getting into one of the best characters in JoJo. All right. Speed King. All right. There's not a lot known about it, but we could kind of see it. Like we haven't seen the full capabilities of this stand, but just from what we've seen, I think we could rate it very well. So, Speed King has a primary ability to store heat and temperature within a short localized point, from single objects such as the surface of paper money or even a particular spot on the human body. However, the heat can then be transferred to anyone who touches said point where the heat is stored. Speed King can only affect objects within 10 centimeters, but it's shown that said objects can travel far away from Jobin and still be affected by Speed King's heat storage. For example, a target could travel from the Higashikata house to downtown Morio and still be affected. And he could use this to heat people's blood vessels, boiling the blood inside them to render them unconscious or even kill them.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, and it showed that it could raise the temperature to at least 300 degrees Celsius.
Oh my god. That's a very easy A tier.
I do honestly like, in close range, then you're pretty much screwed. Also, the fact that it's shown that it could punch pretty good. I think the fact that it could...
say
Yeah, it's definitely not S.
punch pretty good. It's not S because cars would not care in the slightest.
No. But
But
at the same time, any other person besides
any
cars
other person
would pretty much be killed by this stand. I think the user does use this stand to kill a few people, because
it's one of those.
All he has to do is just touch their face and then just heat up their blood vessels, and then they just die.
It's one of those stands where if it was anyone but cars, it'd be S tier.
Yeah.
But
since
because it is cars,
yeah. Yeah, Speed King is really cool. Alright, Dubiwa. I'm trying to remember. Okay. So it's an automatic stand, and pursues its targets no matter how far they are away from him, but with straightforward power. So it manifests itself inside a small but highly destructive tornado that implicably pursues a target. When the user touches someone, or at least touches their stand, he is able to make Dubiwa automatically pursue and attack the target. Dubiwa materializes itself near the target through their exhalation, which gathers and forms a small tornado on which Dubiwa hides. If the target manages to escape a tornado, Dubiwa will use their breath to appear near them again. Thus, escaping Dubiwa is impossible, as it will keep appearing unless the user wants to hold their breath indefinitely. The vortex itself is strong enough to cut the flesh and destroy objects such as a laptop. But getting separated from the target, such as having a sealed window behind it, and the victim will make the tornado weaken and disappear. So pretty much, you breathe, this thing will appear out of your breath.
Show you.
Yeah.
I honestly want to say B tier.
Yeah. You know, here's the problem with automatic stands, is that they run on limited functions, so they're easy to trick, but at the same time, they do have some pretty strong abilities.
Yeah, they have strong abilities to counteract the fact that they're easy to trick and outmaneuver.
Yeah. But I think the fact that it's literally a miniature tornado that could just rip apart a laptop and will just chase you unless you hold your breath.
It's pretty good, as long as you're just touched by the user.
Yep.
It's pretty good. Can he, touch you and then wait, and then send Dubiwa after you?
I think so.
Or
I think he could choose when he wants to activate the ability.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is a solid B tier stand, I'd say, which is good.
Yeah. Dubiwa is pretty... Alright, Love Deluxe.
Love Deluxe.
Yeah. If I remember, Love Deluxe has hair manipulation. The user has control over other people's hair, but only within an 80-meter range of herself. She can use Love Deluxe to scam people by making them think she can grow back their hair permanently, but also has also used it to avoid paying for food for producing a stand owner's hair in a product she bought, or using it to discover the PIN of someone whose ATM card. What is this information? In terms of offense, she's demonstrated being able to throw a long, rope-like strand of her hair from a car's gas tank to a target and igniting it with a lighter.
What?
So pretty much, okay, the original Love Deluxe can control the user's hair, but this Love Deluxe can control other people's hair.
What original Love Deluxe?
Wait, what do you mean?
What original of Deluxe?
If you remember in part 4, this one, Koichi's girlfriend, her stand is called Love Deluxe, like single Love Deluxe, and she's able to like manipulate her hair and make them into essentially like tentacles.
Oh,
Yeah,
where do we put that?
that was in C tier.
I don't remember ranking that one, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, we ranked a lot of stands on the first night.
Yeah, we ranked a lot of stats. I think we went through. Did we go through part 5?
Yep. We stopped at part 6 in the first one.
Yeah. And then we did 6 and 7 in the second.
Yeah.
And now we're almost done at 8.
Yeah. I think Love Deluxe is like.
Honestly, E.
I mean,
Like,
I want to say D.
it's. I don't know. Like,
I don't get it.
Like, I just don't get it, honestly. Like, what's it? It manipulates hair. Cool, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, I do think this is pretty like an easier stand. Honestly,
You can manipulate your own hair. At least Koichi's girlfriend showed you could put it to good use.
yeah. I mean,
Like decent use. It's not like an outstanding stand or anything, but like.
yeah, but I think the original Love Deluxe is just leagues better than Love Deluxe.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Is Love Deluxe is the name makes it sound like it'd be the new and improved version,
but it's not. I think it's the fact that the original Love Deluxe is able to just like grab people and swing them around without any problem. Like the hair is incredibly strong, but this is just like, oh, I could grow out people's hair. Cool, I guess. All right.
Cool pod.
Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna get into literally the two worst stands in JoJo.
Part 8.
Yeah. All right. I'm pretty sure this is shot key number 1. Shot key number 1 is okay. So, left hand, right hand transfer. Shot key number 1 allows the user to transfer objects he touches with his left hand to be transferred to the rocky stub where his right hand used to be. The objects transferred between the hands seem to crumble away like rock and recompose through the right stump, enabling the user to slightly displace objects. Shotkey number 1 is able to transfer anything regardless of a physical state. It could transfer a metal handcuff, a hand, liquid, gas, wires, or even glass. The user can also make transferred object materialize in a manner advantageous to him. For instance, causing straight wires to appear directly binding an enemy. So, I touch something with my left hand, it appears in my right hand.
That's it?
That's it. It's literally, I think out of every single stand in this that we've rated on this tier list, this is the worst one. This is the worst stand.
Worst stand with a function.
With a function. And then we have shot key number
Let's give shot key number 1 some credit. He has a function.
He has a function. And
that's where the compliments at.
Yeah. And then shot key number 2 is toxic gas. Shot key number 2
That's actually good.
Shot key number 2 constantly releases a toxic gas, the strength of which is not shown in full. The gas is potent enough to burn Josuke's skin on contact, and a brief exposure made it difficult for him to breathe. And at full exposure, it can kill a person. The user is notably not immune to his own poison, thus he hides his stand inside of a football, which he throws and kicks at the enemy.
He's not immune to it? That's stupid.
This is honestly like the Little Tykes version of Purple Haze.
Where do we put it? D tier, maybe?
Oh,
is this the same person as shot key number 1?
No, this is the brother of shot key number 1.
Oh, Well, thank God he got a better stand.
Yeah, I think honestly this is like pretty much an E tier stand because like
What was Rocky on when he made Shotkey #1?
I don't know. Both of these enemies are defeated in like one panel, and Josuke doesn't even use his stance. He beats them up with his hands. Imagine that. Imagine that. You don't get beat by his stand. He physically punches you.
That's so metal.
He just lays you out because your stands are awful.
His stands are so bad. His stands are so bad. Your stands are so bad. He beats you in a fist fight.
It's literally the worst. All right.
At least with all these other stands, they'd win a fist fight.
Yeah. All right.
Give him that.
All right. Vitamin C. Okay, I think this might be my favorite stand in all of JoJolion. Vitamin C has the ability of organic softening. Vitamin C's ability is to soften living things' organisms' tissues, melting them into a liquid state. Vitamin C and the user can leave faintly visible fingerprints on any surface, and with Vitamin C's multiple hands, this results in entire rooms being covered in handprints. The fingerprints seem to be made of a squishy whatever. Anyone, even stands, who touches the fingerprint will be softened, making the characteristic of a liquid and becoming elastic. People will lose their consistency and typically melt into a puddle of flesh over time. It becomes easy for Damo to insert random objects into his victims and even slice into them. He notably cuts limbs and organ from his softened victims with a dollar bill. In that state, the victims become unable to move or attack, as any impact makes them lose their coherence. Thus, they are powerless, and the user is free to torment and kill them. The user seems to be able to modify the speed at which people are softened, and the weakness of the softening ability is that it has a very short range, seemingly restricted to a single closed area, like a small boat or a house. If someone affected by the ability leaves Vitamin C's range, its effects disperse immediately.
That sounds pretty good.
It's really good. If you're in its range, you're essentially screwed because you just get
if you're in
melted
its
into
range,
putty. And
I
it's shown
can't
that
do
you're
anything.
yeah, and it's shown that you're sentient, that you're still conscious throughout the whole experience. You just can't move anymore. But the problem is that if you're in an open area, you're pretty much screwed. Plus, if you're out of its range, the ability like immediately deactivates.
But like if he's in an open area, he's just screwed.
Yeah, I think that is how he dies. He gets cornered in the middle of the street, and Josuke just like kills him in broad daylight in front of a bunch of people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he like publicly executes him. All right, I want to say this.
Josuke's insane.
Yeah, I want to say this like a B tier stand.
Yeah, like can he touch you, and if he makes contact with you, can he demelt you, or is it only through fingerprints?
He could touch you and do it.
Oh, but it's much harder.
Yeah. Honestly, I think like it's great, but really the only thing holding it back is its range. It's like if it had a longer range, it would be like way more. It would definitely be A tier.
I know I've said this so much, but like if it had longer range, I'd put it in S tier.
Yeah.
Actually, no, just put it in A. I think that's an A tier stand.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, Vitamin C is pretty like, bro. Vitamin C is so cool. That fight is so intense.
I know I've said this so many times during this, but I need JoJo.
You honestly do.
You'd recommend going the anime for parts 1 through 5. I guess 6 now. And
yeah.
It feels weird to say now parts 1 through 6.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, then, as soon as we get confirmed a release date for part 6.
And then
because all
the
we
manga
have right now, because pretty much all the evidence we have, or images, or anything regarding part 6 right now, is essentially Jolene.png.
We just know what's happening, which is all people needed.
Yeah. All right. Part 8 Killer Queen. Okay.
It's Killer Queen.
It's Killer Queen, but here's the thing. It can't turn things into bombs anymore, but it creates bubbles, which explode on impact, and these bubbles, they could be detonated at will by Kira, and at the same time, these explosions affect the area around it. So, original Killer Queen, its explosions would only affect the person who was exploded. This one, it acts like a normal bomb. Also, the fact that it also has sheer heart attack, but at the same time, it could spawn as many sheer heart attacks as it wants, as big and as small as it wants, and it has full control over all of them.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This is honestly like an A tier stand. Because like,
dude, but sheer heart attack is insane.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that is S?
I don't think it's S because like with Killer Queen, its explosions aren't based on logic. They just explode in general, based on like. But the problem with not problem, but the thing that's holding Part 8 Killer Queen back from S is the fact that its explosions are based on like real explosions, meaning that someone like Cars would easily be able to shrug off an explosion from Part 8 Killer Queen.
Yeah, but Part 4 Killer Queen defies the laws of logic to blow you up.
Yep. Honestly, Part 8 Killer Queen is really cool. Also, the fact that like Kira isn't a serial killer in this universe. He's a doctor, and he used sheer heart attack to shrink them down to the size of blood cells and send them inside somebody's veins to explode blood clots.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that.
Bro, Part 8 Killer Queen is honestly really cool. Like, bro, all the Kira flashback stuff is so awesome. Alright.
And this is Soft and Wet again,
This is the original Soft and Wet. This is Josefumi's Soft and Wet. Which is
basically JoJo.
Well, here's the thing. Kira and his sister share more of Jotaro than Josefume. Josefume only shares it in name with Kujo, but Kira and his sister, who is Born This Way's user, they're both children of Holly, and Kira got Jotaro's personality while I think her name is Kay, ended up getting Jotaro's like overall like design.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. All right. The original Soft and Wet, pretty much its main ability was plundering, but it could only do it through touch. It couldn't make bubbles that could go far out.
So it's just Soft and Wet, but worse.
I mean, yeah. I want to say.
So like B tier?
Yeah, pretty much.
His Plunder's a decent ability.
Yeah, honestly, but the fact that it's just through touch, and he doesn't have the detonating bubbles of the new Soft and Wet.
Oh, is that C actually?
Yeah, I think it might be C. I don't even know why original Soft and Wet is even on here.
Yeah. It's meant to be an incomplete stand.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, Walking Heart. This is another sin. We only saw it once, and we have never seen it again. Or the user, for that matter. Walking Heart, what it can do is that it could extend objects to a point. And it's able to, like, pretty much, like, pierce through, like, solid stone. So the example is that the user ends up extending the heels on her shoes to, like, incredibly long needles to stab somebody with kicks, or to, like, burrow able to like walk up walls by poking through, essentially like stabbing through the walls, keeping her in place.
Oh dang, that's not a bad stand.
It isn't, but at the same time, we've only been shown in the one instance that the stand appears, we've only been shown the user using this ability on her heels, which has caused people to jump to the conclusion that this stand can only affect the user's heels.
which I don't know if that's true, but
I don't think.
also we just don't know in general.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it'd have such an arbitrary like
Restriction like that.
I think honestly this is like a D tier stand because like aside from that it doesn't really do much. I think it's the fact that we
And
don't
like,
get to see much and we're not
the problem is
based on what
we
we're
don't
shown
get
we can't really inference its potential.
Yeah, and what we've been shown is kind of neat, but not super impressive in the world of stands.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Kato's stand. This stand doesn't have a name yet. I think it might get a name in the next chapter, possibly. I mean, the user's back in the next chapter. So, what this stand does is that it doesn't have a physical form. It's like an ability that the user is able to take objects and able to like effectively store them within a deck of cards by like it takes something like a one card and another card and it puts something in between them and they essentially just get stored in that little space in between so it appears like it's kind of like D4C in the sense that it looks like it's gone but it's not really and she's able to open it back up and have it like return and there's not really we haven't seen much of the stand so we don't know if there's a limit to the size of objects she can like store but we're shown that she was able to like have like a chair leg kept in between the deck of cards.
Can you repeat that?
Pretty much, the user has a deck of cards, and it could put objects in between the deck, and then those objects will become stored in the deck. And then once she opens it up again, they'll return.
That's it?
Yeah.
They just kind of come out?
Pretty much.
I could do that.
I can do that. Honestly, I think it's like an F. I mean,
honestly,
it's
F tier.
F, honestly.
I could do that.
You're not special. I could do that. I could hide objects inside decks of cards.
You don't need a stand for that.
Alright.
At least for all the other... Okay, you know what?
What?
I know we said... No, actually, Soul Whatever 1 is still the worst.
Yeah.
But at least with all the other stands, they do something a person can't normally do.
Well, the thing is that with this stand, like, she's just able to store things in the space in between objects. Like, if you, like, essentially, if you open a book, you take your phone, you put it on the page of the book, and then you close the book, then the phone's essentially gone until you open the book up again.
That's kind of cool, but I do that when I make a ham sandwich.
I could trap my phone in between the buns of a ham sandwich.
On God.
It's like, have you ever seen that Vine where the guy is like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, it's Killer Croc. He's ugly and he bites people. And he's like, oh, you're not special, man. I could do that too. Oh, God. Kato's stand is so, like... I feel we've only seen it once. Just to preface that she is a stand user. Not for any other reason. She's like, oh, by the way, I'm a stand user. Here's my stand. It's a deck of cards.
I gotta go AFK for like 5 minutes. Would you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, 1 sec.
Alright.
Oh, hey, I'm back.
Alright. Alright. You're gonna love this next one.
Oh,
Alright.
alright.
I think I've explained this one, but this still is pretty weird. Alright. So
You said in chat, yo, this going ham.
Alright. This is Milagro Man. Now, Milagro Man is a stand that is based on an urban legend. So what the stand does is that the stand can create and duplicate money, with the legal tender changing depending on the country the stand's money is currently in. The monies appear to be generated from the corners of other bills out of thin air as well. Anyone affected by Milagro Man's power through simple touch will constantly earn money until they are literally buried in cash, eventually resulting in death via crushing or asphyxiation. No matter how they try to spend or destroy the money, it will be returned to them and they will somehow receive more money than they originally spent. The only way to escape Milagro Man's power is to return the money to the previous owner, or have the money destroyed by another person, after which Milagro Man is transferred to the new victim.
Holy crap.
It's essentially, you like money? I could give you a lot of it.
You might die, but hey.
But hey, you got money.
It's a it's a net profit.
Yeah. It's essentially like, it's pretty much like a parasitic stand, kind of like a Cheap Trick. But I honestly don't know where to put it. Like, honestly,
Like,
I don't know.
I guess A?
I feel like I would put it in A as a joke.
Like, here's the thing, that ability is actually kind of crazy. But who's like the stand's owner?
It
Does
doesn't
it have an owner?
It just gets passed between the money.
Huh.
I want to say like, man, I don't know.
I almost want to say A because you just suffocate anyone.
You know what? Yeah, I guess Okay, after this, I'm gonna download this entire tier list, and I'm probably gonna post it on social media, and then people are gonna be like, "Wait a minute, is that Milagro Man in A?"
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
pretty much.
I mean, it's a very direct method, but
Yeah,
he suffocates you.
he suffocates
Like,
you.
what do you do about it?
What do you do? Oh, this next one.
Pass it off the.
This next one is like, okay, here's the problem. The arc that this stand is a part of is pretty bad, but at the same time, the stand by itself is pretty interesting. So this is Blue Hawaii, and what Blue Hawaii does is that it has mind control contagion, and it could take control of somebody as a person or an animal as long as they have touched something that was at one point attached to the user. For instance, the user uses one of his teeth to take control of a young boy to attack Josuke. When touched, the target will be invaded by Blue Hawaii, shown as its skeletal design mark on their bodies. The contact must be physical. Touching something through a protective layer like a plastic sheet doesn't count, but physical contact with a controlled person's blood counts. An organism who falls victim to the ability will be rendered into a zombie-like state and will relentlessly perform a specific instruction like chasing after a target or coming back to the user. So pretty much it becomes a catalyst for spreading the infectious power. If the flesh or blood of an infected organism makes physical contact with another, the infection will transfer over. It appears that this stand cannot possess more than one living being at a time, as an infected organism remains control after the infection is transferred to another. The main weakness of the stand's power is that those under Blue Hawaii's control can only move in a linear path to reach their target, unable to climb over or avoid obstacles in their path. So essentially,
Honestly, that's probably.
essentially, it's pretty much just like you come in contact with a part of the user, you become a zombie, you go in a straight line to chase the target, and then you end up passing it on to another person.
Honestly, that's probably like C or D tier.
I honestly do think it's C. Also, the fact that if a person under control of Blue Hawaii gets close enough to the user, then he has just like full control over their mind and can make them speak and reveal information to him.
I mean, that's pretty neat, but I still think C.
Yeah, honestly, I think it would be cooler if it ended up leading with like hordes of people chasing Josuke, because the whole arc is really
Oh, that'd be so cool.
yeah, because the whole arc is pretty repetitive, where it's like Josuke, person who's chasing him gets hit, the virus chases over, Josuke runs, then it just repeats over and over for like 6 chapters until Josuke ends up getting infected by a baby because he doesn't want to kill it.
He just kills everyone who gets infected,
Yes.
including the boy.
I mean, the boy gets hit by a car, not directly Josuke's fault, but essentially everyone else who's chasing him essentially just gets like killed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Damn, Josuke's got a high kill count.
Yeah.
He's got a high KD ratio.
Pretty much. I think half of the deaths in JoJo are probably a result of Josuke in some way.
God, he's more deaths than the villain.
Yeah. Alright. Doggy Style. This is literally in line for the best name in all of JoJo, right next to D4C. It's so okay. So
he knew what he was doing. Rocky knew what he was doing.
He was. Alright, so pretty much what this stand does is that it's similar in a sense to Stone Free, is that it allows the user to unravel its body into essentially like a wire kind of rope that he can control and manipulate. But here's the thing, the stand itself, unlike Stone Free, can't fight. It can only use its ability on the user. But however, the user can do incredibly a lot of things like that, like expanding his own range by like extending his arm, or he's able to like reshape his arm into a crossbow.
So it's essentially plays entirely into what aspect of Jolene's stand and amps it up to like 11.
Pretty much. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just Stone Free again, but worse. I don't think that's the fact. I think it's like it takes inspiration from Stone Free. Like it's not subtle at all, but it's what we see the user do with it is incredibly interesting.
I want to put it in B.
I mean, I'd say I could bump it down to C, mainly because of the fact that it can't fight on its own.
He turns his arm to like a crossbow or something.
Yeah, but that's all specifically the user. I think the thing that the stand that the actual stand itself doesn't do anything.
C is fair.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
It is cool. The user's cool too. All right.
S tier for the name though.
Yeah. It's S tier in our hearts, mainly based on the name.
S tier. S tier in our hearts.
All right. Brainstorm. Brainstorm is a bacterial-like stand that the user sends out of his hands, which can melt the flesh of anyone touching it. First, they grab onto the surface of the skin with their feelers. They break through the skin, and their feelers extend inside the victim's body. The stand causes hemolysis and enters deeper into the body, which can also constantly multiplying exponentially. This causes the target to break down as if holes were being dug into it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Christ.
I honestly think this is an A tier stand. Also the fact that it's like long range in a colony that multiplies.
Okay, what it does? Is there a limit to what it can break down?
I think it can only enter into living things.
Could it enter into like cars or something?
I mean, I imagine it could, but I don't think melting his flesh would do anything. He could just heal.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care.
No, I think based on anyone, that's Brainstorm is pretty much like pretty overpowered.
He's cars didn't ask.
He didn't ask. Yeah, Brainstorm's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ozone Baby. I don't know. For some reason, I really like Ozone Baby and his little arc. All right. So, upon activation. Okay. So let's start with what you have to do to activate the stand. It's like an automatic thing. So the stand first manifests. I love this part. The stand first manifests itself as a Lego building of the White House. And then the user then has to bury the stand in a certain ground around the area that he wants the stand's ability to be affected. After that, Ozone Baby automatically begins to cause atmospheric pressure anomalies. Hollow objects such as plastic containers begin to collapse in on themselves, and living organisms begin to experience mild depressurization sickness with symptoms such as pain in the ears and nosebleeds. If one steps outside of a sealed room, the depressurization sickness will become drastically more severe. All the air dissolved inside the blood vessel form bubbles, causing severe bleeding in the capillaries, which can debilitate a grown man in seconds and cause eyes to pop out of their sockets. Oh my god.
Oh Christ!
Any room that is opened but then closed regains its atmospheric pressure, the walls and closed openings acting as barriers to Ozone Baby's power. Any surviving victim managing to regain the safety of a closed room can recover from their sickness. However, merely staying inside a closed space is also dangerous, as the pressure inside will gradually increase to lethal levels. At worst, the crushing pressure causes the body to cave in on itself.
Oh god, where would you rank that?
I honestly think this is an A.
I can agree. It's a convoluted setup, but once it gets going, my god, that's deadly.
Yeah, like it falls.
Basically,
It kind of
damned
has
if you do, damned if you don't.
yeah, it's under like the same like kind of guise as what's it called vitamin C, and the fact that like it's great in closed corners, but in like open areas is not that good. But I think the fact that it is like so dangerous in closed corners kind of like outweighs that.
Yeah, it's so incredibly dangerous.
Yeah. Also, the fact that the stand itself doesn't have a physical form, like this image here, it essentially like casts an illusion of itself. So like, you can't really damage it. You have to go straight for the user. And it shows that the user can be as far away as it wants from the area that's being pressurized.
Or if you find the statue.
Well, you'd have to dig it up in the first place.
Yeah, and then destroy it. Would that do anything?
I mean, we're never shown that, and we never insinuated that would work, but maybe.
Oh, so you have to actually find the user.
Yep.
Damn.
The only way that they were able to stop it was that the user was shot in the face by a third party. That wasn't involved in the fight.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Talk about bad luck.
Then we end up getting into like the serious stuff. Alright. Dr. Wu.
Is this Wonder of You?
No, not yet. Wonder of You is the last one. But Dr. Wu. Dr. Wu is essentially Infinity War of the Stand. So basically, the user, it's an ability, it doesn't have a form. The user can deconstruct his body into small, independently controlled stones and then reconstruct himself. These particles have no power besides floating around in the wind. In this form, Dr. Wu can invade someone's body and take control of their movements, fusing with body parts such as bones, ligaments, and tendons.
Oh wow!
So he could essentially decompose himself into gravel, fly throughout the wind, and then and then attach itself to somebody's body.
He controls where it goes, right?
Yep.
Would you say that's S tier? Could it like do it to cars?
I don't think it would work on cars because I feel like cars would just be able to expel it.
How?
Like, can't the Pillarmen just like manipulate their bodies?
Oh yeah, they can.
Yeah, he could just do that in ways they could.
So anything that tries to alter the body doesn't really work.
Yeah. I think Doctor Wu does sit comfortably in A.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright. Awakening 3 leaves. It's the second to last stand. This is pretty. I think it has something to do with vectors. Vector manipulation. Awaking 3 leaves can manipulate vector space by spawning arrows that the user can place in different directions. It can move energy to where the arrows are pointing, allowing it to negate any foreign entities in proximity to the user. The inside of the user, or wherever the arrows are placed, when placed on a person, will expel foreign objects from their body in the direction of where the larger arrow is facing. If multiple arrows are placed, energy would move through the shortest route out of the space the arrows surround. Moreover, the user can multiply a force by stacking arrows in the same axis. For instance, tripling the acceleration of an elevator by putting 3 consecutive arrows on its walls.
So just increase the acceleration of things?
Well, it can do that, but also by putting the arrows around them, things that try to get near them will be essentially pushed away by the arrows.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I think this is honestly like a C tier ability.
Really?
I mean, yeah. I think it's the fact that we haven't seen the stand do a lot.
I mean, theoretically, it sounds like it'd sit comfortably in A. It could just expel you, and not a ton you could do.
I think I could go for B, honestly, because for some reason I don't.
C doesn't sit right with me.
You want to settle for B?
Yeah, we'll settle for B.
Alright.
Do you like B?
Yeah. I think B is good for it. I don't think it's A tier, though.
And then,
Ooh. The Wonder of You. Wonder of You. Literally. Okay.
Can I be a one to explain it?
Yes.
If the stand is facing, I believe if the stand is facing you.
It's if you look directly at the stand's back.
If you look directly at the stand, any attempt to bring any harm to reality will literally warp to prevent you from bringing any harm to the user.
Essentially, yes. I do think the fact is that it does do this, but also it does stay within the realms of reality. Like, it can't just cause the ground to swallow you up. It causes it essentially causes objects near you to essentially collide with you at intense speeds and lethal essentially drinking water will essentially cause the water to I don't know, kind of tear through you, as well as going out in the rain will cause the rain to tear through your body.
It does not follow the laws of reality.
It doesn't, but at the same time, it can't fully manipulate reality in a sense.
Yeah, but could you just look away from the stand, or
well, once you've already looked at the back of the stand,
you're screwed.
You're pretty much screwed because any attempt to get near the stand or the user will cause in a calamity occurring, to the point where I don't think range matters, because during the fight we've seen that Yasuho tries to fight Toru, but at the same time a plane door gets detached from a plane flying above the town, and for 4 chapters it was hurtling towards Yasuho.
Oh my god.
I don't think Wonder of You is S though. I do think it's A though, because I think
why not S?
Because at the same time, these are just objects.
But he could literally manipulate them to make anything lethal.
Yes, but at the same time, think about this. Cars, and I think any vampire in general, can like heal from essentially any injury. I think against cars it would just be a loop of him getting hit with objects, but he would just keep healing and healing.
That's fair. It's another one of those stands where if it was anyone but cars,
Yeah.
it'd be bonkers beyond insanely busted.
Also the fact,
But because it's specifically cars,
yeah. Also the fact that not technically about calamities, but also has a secondary ability of like disguising itself as a human, and it's able to interact with people. Also the fact that the stand has an incredibly long range.
what's
Plus
its range?
We don't have a set number on its range, but like, okay, the user. Also, I think the stand could just freely teleport wherever it wants. But yeah.
So range doesn't even matter.
Not necessarily, but I want to say from what we've seen, the farthest we've seen it go has been to the University State Hospital, in between that and the Higashikata House, and between those two areas is pretty far. We don't have a set number, but like,
Just the fact that I can teleport that far to begin with is stupid.
yeah, honestly. Also the fact that it is responsible for the killing, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Currently killing 3 main characters and 1 minor and 2 minor characters.
Wait, really?
We're getting into spoiler territory, but it killed Mamazuku. It killed Born This Way's user. Mamazuku was Doggy Style's user, and it also killed Speed King's user, as well as 1 doctor at the hospital, and also some. Also, the fact that like it's not even like you have to look directly at the stand. If you look at a picture of the form of the disguise Wonder of You takes, then the ability will just work on you. And it's not stated that there's any limit to who it can target at once.
My God.
It's just, as well, we don't know this for sure, but since everyone's just been being attacked by things because of its ability, we don't know if it has any actual fighting capabilities of itself other than the calamities, because we've
Not
only
like it needs them.
I don't think it needs them, but also the fact that it's only been shown using rock insects to actually hurt people when it's not using its calamities. So it gives me at least the impression that the stand itself, if it didn't have the calamities, it would not be able to hold its own in a fight. But the fact that just the very thought of pursuing the user or the head doctor will just cause you to just cause everything around you to just oppose you, will just
Even the thought?
Yes. The intent to pursue the user. Or the stand itself.
My God.
And honestly,
it feels so wrong not to put this in S.
Yeah,
But
but
I don't think it'd beat Cars.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't. It's incredibly terrifying, though.
If it was anyone else,
Anyone else.
it would be insane.
Could you imagine if Dio had this stand? The Crusaders would never be able to make it out of Japan.
It would end in episode 1.
It would literally end in episode 1.
As soon as they said we're going after Dio,
they would just get marked.
Oh my God!
Could you this is literally the perfect stand for Part 4 Kira and Diavolo. Think about that.
This is the perfect stand for any antagonist.
Well, yes, but in the sense of Kira and Diavolo, their whole shtick was about people not knowing them, about staying hidden. What is more better than staying hidden than the fact that anyone that tries to pursue you will just die.
Dies.
It's just a guaranteed KO. I mean,
That's
with
so stupid.
I mean, with the exception of Yasuho, Joshu, and Josuke, but those are main characters, so we don't count that.
Yeah, they get main character they get power. They get something more powerful than any stand. They get main character immunity.
They get plot armor.
Yeah, they have plot armor.
Yeah.
Also, can we put plot armor in S plus?
Just rename S plus to plot armor.
Actually, those stands basically are just plot armor.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, Love Train is literally the definition of plot armor.
Yeah, Love Train is literally plot armor in stand form.
Like, it's just like Wonder of You is so overpowered that Araki had to make another asshole out of nowhere in order to beat it. Like, this is the biggest asshole since Star Platinum stopping time, and that was almost 30 years ago.
What was the asshole?
Okay. It was technically foreshadowed. It was at one point hinted at that Soft and Wet had some relation to the spin. But now it's just like, this new ability with the explosive spin is so incredibly vague. It's just like, it's cool. But at the same time, I need more information about this so it doesn't look like Josuke conveniently learned how to just stop the calamities.
The spin just goes through the calamities?
Well, no, it's that, like, for some reason, him shooting the explosive spin bubble, for some reason, doesn't cause him to be affected by a calamity.
What?
And it's able to harm the user.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, they had to beat it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I hope that in the next chapter we at least get some more information about it, because if it's left at the fact that it could just kill the user out of nowhere, it just seems pretty weird to me. But at least there was foreshadowing to it.
At least it's not as big. Okay, it sounds kind of stupid at first, but but keep in mind, we don't know a lot about this ability yet. It could be developed further, and it could make sense in retrospect.
Yeah.
At least it's not. At least Josuke didn't literally just go, so it's the same type of stand as Star Platinum.
Yeah. Like, legitimately, like the whole problem with Star Platinum stopping time was that, like, it makes sense when you think about it, because, like, you know, Star Platinum's whole thing is his speed, and when you think about it, what would be the ultimate form of speed if not stopping everything around you? Like, when you think about that, at least it kind of makes sense. But the fact that there wasn't any foreshadowing to it makes it so that everyone assumes that it just came out of nowhere. At least with Soft and Wet Go Beyond, there was at least some foreshadowing before this whole thing went down. And I feel like, because, like, we've been shown secretly, like, hey, there's something a little off about Josuke's soap bubbles. And then we find out, hey, wait a minute, it's a string, and it spins really fast. I wonder what this is about. And then later, it's just revealed, like, yo, like, as Mamazuku's dying, he's like, yo, you don't understand this, but you gotta use this ability. And he's like, alright, bet.
Got him, GG's.
Got him, GG's. Alright. So, this is it. The entire factual JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stand tier list, and if anyone tells you that this is wrong, then they're a liar.
Exactly. If they can't even so much as dare us contradict our opinions, which are 100% based in facts and logic,
then you will undergo a calamity in real life.
Exactly.
You will be hit with a plane door immediately as soon as you dislike this video.
I have never watched parts 3 through 8. I never watched or read parts 3 through 8, but I am automatically right because I said so.
Yes. My opinion matters so much. I'm looking at some of these choices, and I feel like people are gonna be like, "Hey, wait a minute, why is Gavin 8 here?" Like, there's a lot. Like, I've seen other people do stand tier lists for JoJo, and like by thinking about it, based on what other people have said, it's pretty weird that we put a lot of like these stands in certain spots because like Sky High and B tier, I feel like a lot of people would be confused about that.
Why? Where do they think he should be?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think Sky High is a pretty like weak stand. When you think about
I
it,
mean,
Sky High is pretty much like next to Versace. He's like one of the best stands of like think about this. And I don't remember who said this, but I did see it in a video. Was that people explained that like pretty much like if you were to give Raikeel, Sky High's user, Dio's vampiric powers, that the fight would pretty much play out the same.
what does Sky High do again?
It's that he controls animals that can remove body heat from people. And removing body heat causes people to have like various like levels of just like lethal side effects.
Just death.
Pretty much. Like, honestly, I think I've explained this, but at the same time, if I really wish that in JoJo that vampiric powers were inherited through bloodlines, because that would make Giorno like a 10 times more interesting character. All of Dio's kids in part 6, 10 times more interesting. And I guess
it just neatly wrap up the vampire arc.
yeah, I mean, I guess you could at least make the case that it was Jonathan's body, and Jonathan's body was limiting Diro's vampire powers, which is why he didn't use the ice ability or the laser eyes in part 3. But at the same time,
It's honestly fair.
yeah. Like,
But at the same time, it would have been. At the same time, I feel like the whole vampire thing ended kind of abruptly.
yeah.
Like, it was such an integral part of JoJo's world.
And then, like, it ends with
And that just kind of
Dio.
disappears. And that just kind of disappears because.
Yeah.
Which I get it. I think stands are much better. But it's a big jump. I wish there was a bit more, I don't know, of a transitional phase.
Yeah, I think that way too. Like honestly, like I feel like everyone's like, but wait, Giorno does have vampiric powers because he does the re, and he's like, so what? Is saying the phrase re inherent to only vampires, and is that genetic? Also, I love that.
No,
Also, I love that
I
that
can
same.
do the read.
Yeah. Also, I love that that same that same way of thinking implies that saying the word muda with a stand rush is also genetic for some reason, and I love that. It's like, are stand cries
I love
genetic?
that.
Like, what?
To be fair, it could be argued that because the stand makes the noise.
Well, yeah. I think we do.
But it's still funny when you say it that way.
Yeah. Also, man, I'm just like so excited to see part 6 animated because like I get to see the whole thing with Weather Report, and he's honestly like the highlight of part 6 for everybody. Poochie is really cool. Jolene is a really cool protagonist. The setting is really interesting. Dio's kids.
I think it'll.
Like,
Oh, sorry. You continue.
the latter half of Dio's kids are good. Bohemian Rhapsody, I mainly want to see that to see how they manage to make that arc work without having to worry about any copyright problems.
Oh, they don't have to worry about copyright?
Well, they have to find a way to make it so they don't have to worry about copyright. Like, they won't be able to mention Mickey Mouse or show Spider-Man.
They can imply it, but
I mean, yeah, but then you won't get the amazing. You won't be able to get the amazing lines of like, like if there's no Mickey, then this crap isn't Disney. Like, also the fact of Anna Sui being incredibly angry that Mickey Mouse isn't on the sign to Disney World for some reason.
Oh man, how the hell are they gonna make that work?
I don't know, honestly. Like, the Bohemian Rhapsody arc already didn't work in the manga, so it's just gonna not work even more.
So, like, I think honestly, I think this will honestly make people appreciate Part 6 more.
Definitely.
Because I feel like a lot of readers kind of view Part 6 as kind of just that awkward as kind of just that like transitional phase to as like the gateway to Part 7.
Yeah.
When really it stands strongly as its own arc.
Pretty much. I think all right. The thing is that, like, I like Part 6, but at the same time it's like it's not perfect. Like, a lot of the minor villains aren't really that interesting. Like, they don't have that many like jumping off of Part 5 and having all these villains with like really interesting and distinct personalities, and then you kind of get back into the groove of like the Part 3 enemy stand users where it's like, I'm evil because, and the fact that a lot of the fights aren't really memorable, but like the main cast is like so great, and the fact
that makes up for it.
Yeah, and the fact of how different the whole story plays out with Poochie and Weather Report, and the fact that they don't even, that you have to like the slowly uncovering the mystery of who Weather Report actually is. Because like when I was reading, and I didn't know anything about what was going on, after Poochie fused with the Green Baby, he ended up getting a Joestar birthmark, and then later we see Weather Report getting a Joestar birthmark, and like I was literally like, what is going on? Like, it was that weird state, but also I was really intrigued because I didn't know that Poochie and Weather were brothers. So I was like, what's going on? And then the Heavy Weather fight came, and then I was like, alright, this is like peak Part 6. And then, like, bro, the final battle, like, excluding the Maiden Heaven stuff, because, like, that's just devastating to see everyone die. But, like, the stuff with Sea Moon, like Jolene turning herself into a Mobius strip, and then Jotaro making a dramatic entrance by stopping time at the end, and having his face obscured by shadow while he's holding Jolene in his arms, is the most badass shot in all of JoJo. And I could just imagine them doing like an orchestral version of Jotaro's theme during that moment.
I'm so excited.
I honestly am. Like,
after this, I'm picking up that like I'll probably just pick up at Part 3 because I can't be asked to watch Parts 1 and 2 again.
Yeah.
Like, they were good.
Yeah.
Are they good enough for me to want to rewatch them again when I already remember them well enough?
Yeah, I think you should just go straight to Part 3.
Yeah, I think I'd enjoy myself far more.
Yeah. Also, on like an unrelated note, did you ever like read into like the Phantom Blood movie?
What do you mean?
Alright. So this is kind of like JoJo Lost Media in a sense.
Well, I've heard of it.
It's like really interesting to read up about it because like it I was looking at, apparently there's like, everyone had the rumor that Araki hated it and had it pulled from theaters, but like there is like literally no evidence backing that, and it's just a rumor. Also, the fact that like people have the weird like thinking that for some reason it has a tie-in. It probably does have a tie-in to the Phantom Blood PS2 game, but people think that it showed like a cutscene from that game at the beginning of the movie for some reason.
Huh?
Like, well, why? If they wanted
why would it do that?
I don't know. Like, if they wanted the movie to be a tie-in with the Phantom Blood PS2 game that came out a year before the movie came out in theaters, why would they show a cutscene? Like a janky-ass PS2 cutscene.
That was one generation after the PS1.
like legitimately, you ever seen footage of the PS2 Phantom Blood game?
I have not.
Bro, like, from what I've heard that it plays like garbage, apparently. I don't know, but I'm not bothered to play a game that doesn't have an English translation.
Me neither.
Like, at least with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, at least with the Part 5 game, at least they have, like, fan translations out there.
Yeah, but for this PS2 game, there isn't even one?
No. I guess...
Damn, no one bothered.
Yeah, like, for some reason, they're just way more interested in doing the, I guess because the Part 5 game never really had, like... It had plans to come out in America, but it never did. But the Phantom Blood game was never announced to come out in the US. It just kind of came out in Japan. And people ended up finding out about it somehow.
Which, I mean... Oh yeah, that kind of reminds me. When I go back and watch Part 3... when I go and watch the other parts, I'm gonna have to convince my dad to, because I want to watch it with him.
Yeah?
I'm gonna have to convince him to watch it, with subtitles.
Oh, no.
Because, here's the thing. Normally, I just do the dub.
Yeah?
But first of all, I like the way the sub sounds better.
Yeah?
And second of all, there's a very distinct advantage to the sub, which I think makes it strictly superior, in which parts come out far, far earlier for the sub.
Yeah?
Like, a year earlier.
Pretty much. I mean, the dub for JoJo is caught up now, but, like...
It won't be soon.
Yeah, I mean, it took them, like, 3 years to get caught up with Part 5.
And then Part 6 is coming out. How are they going to do that?
I think...
Will it be at the same time?
Maybe. I think it's because, like, a lot of anime studios do that. Like, they don't do simultaneous dubbing, but, like, it comes out, I want to say, like, almost, like, half a week after the original episode came out. Or maybe, like, a week behind. But
that's still behind.
I mean, it's still behind, but not as bad as, like, a year behind the anime coming out.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure they only started doing, like, JoJo dubs. I need to get this right. I need to find out when did the Part 3 dub start. No, wait, let me go with Part 1. Part 1 dub. I have to put JoJo so that doesn't, like, JoJo dub come out.
At this point, I'm pretty sure if you just put in Part 1 and stuff.
Yeah. Alright,
September
the English dub.
2013? That's like 2 years after the original?
I think so. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, because the anime started in 2012, and I remember that the Part 3 anime was, like, the Part 3 dub was, like, halfway through during 2018, I want to say. I think it ended in 2018, and the Part 3 anime ended in 2015.
Damn.
Yeah. And then
so, they were almost up to Part 5 by the time the Part 3 dub was done.
Yeah, I mean, Part 5 was, like, starting, like, as soon as that, and then they just kind of, like, I don't know, they went through Part 4 pretty quickly with the dub, and now I'm pretty sure the Part 5 dub has been done for, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the dub choices for some of them. I think it is kind of cringy having to listen to the localized names.
I feel as a whole, the sub is generally agreed to be better.
Yeah. Also the fact that, like, some of the voice actors are pretty cool, like Joseph's voice. Like, part 2 was the only dub that I generally went back. Part 2 was only, like, one part that I generally watch the full dub of after I had watched the sub, because I genuinely like Joseph's voice, but everyone else's voices are really funny. Like they just have like the person who does Caesar's voice just does like a stupid fake Italian accent where he's like JoJo. He's like, "What are you doing, JoJo?" And it's so stupid. Also, Susie Q has another stupid, like, Italian accent, and then by the time part 3 comes around, that accent is just completely gone. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really funny. Also, the fact that like okay, the problem I have is that Stroheim's voice actor in the sub is so amazing at screaming, and then you get to the dub and like, man, he just does not got it with the screams, man. Like, do you remember that part where Joseph like fell? Joseph and Cars were falling from like the snowy cliff chasing the stone, and then like Stroheim just screamed at JoJo, and it lasted for like 2 seconds and it should longer than it should have. And then in the dub it just sounds like JoJo. Also, the fact that you have to listen to him say San Viento.
Oh God.
Like, I don't know. I just think listening to like, also there are some cases where it does sound pretty good. Like, you'd think that the dub actor saying Zipper Man at the top of his lungs very angrily would sound pretty stupid, but for some reason he owns that. Also, the fact that they got Funtime Freddy to voice Diavolo.
I mean, I've heard I've heard some bits of the Part 5 dub, and it sounds pretty good.
Yeah. It's just the problem is that like sometimes when these dub actors do like the stand rushes, it could sound a little like awkward. Like especially at the start of the anime, because when Matt Mercer did Star Platinum's auras at the beginning, it sounded a little like, huh, that sounds like the OVA auras.
Oh boy.
Or like the I want I would love I just want to watch if at some point we could do like a watch party with just the part 3 OVA, because
Oh, that'd be amazing.
that would be amazing. Partly because that
I've actually watched some of the Part 3 OVA.
I think it's
Like the
genuinely
final
really funny.
fight. I think it's for its time. I think it's actually pretty good.
I do think
For
that the
its
animation
time,
is generally really the animation there is genuinely really good in the final fight and kind of
Yeah.
throughout the first part, but just like the changes they make and just like the English voice acting is like a whole nother can of worms. It's not really related to like the actual quality of the adaptation, but
Because
like
that was done the retroactive way.
yeah, but the animation is good, but like some of the weird story choices, like they do take out a lot of fights that do feel like filler sometimes, but like they remove Pet Shop, and that helps to go with Iggy's character. So by the time Iggy has like if you were just watching the OVA instead of watching the anime or reading the manga, like I feel like anyone would have like no attachment to Iggy because you don't get the whole Pet Shop fight, and he's not really involved in the Vanilla Ice fight at all, besides getting killed at the end. He's like,
Yeah, he just
Iggy,
doesn't
get
get
out
as
of
much.
here! He's still alive. I mean, the death is way more brutal than the original death. Also, the fact
The Iggy one, I think Vanilla Ice is genuinely one of just the most heart-wrenching fights in the entire series.
pretty much. Also, the fact that like Avdol gets killed in like a completely different way. Like instead of getting killed by Vanilla Ice, I don't know if you saw the scene, but like when they were like investigating Dio's coffin, like in the actual like in Dio's castle, one of his servants is like opening up the coffin, and then Dio uses time stop to put him inside the coffin, he does that with Avdol instead for some reason.
What and how does that and what happens from there?
I think after that, Vanilla Ice just comes in and erases him for no reason.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah. Also the fact that like it's really like trying to find a way to explain it. Like for some reason Avdol comes back during the Justice fight instead of during the Judgment fight, which it does make for some really pretty visuals because you get to see parts of like the entire hotel on fire. Like some of
But basically, they took a lot of creative liberties.
yeah, and a few of them work. Very few of them work. A lot of them don't.
Like Abdul ending up the coffin just sounds so weird.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't sound like it fits at all.
Also the fact that there are some cool moments. I mean, this isn't really cool, but like instead of Dio doing the stare thing to Polnareff, he does it to Jotaro instead. And what happens is that Kakyoin ends up like instead of him showing up before the Derby fight, like after the pet shop fight and before they enter Dio's mansion, he swoops in to save them, like right as Dio is about to kill them in the mansion, and then it leads to like the start of the Dio fight on the rooftops, which I think is pretty cool. Also, Kakyoin wears his sunglasses throughout the entire fight, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But, like, then you watch the dub. Wait, actually, no. Before I go into that, like, the way they do Dio's time stop in the OVA is way more menacing than it is in the
Yeah, because I've seen it. There's no dramatic time sequence or anything. It's just 1 second it's just 1 second he's there, and the next he's not.
Yeah, and it's not even like it makes it look so seamless when they don't show what happens inside the time stop. Also, the fact that there was no music playing whenever time is stopped is just really, really cool to me because it just adds to the terror and like the ambiance. Well, in the
I
anime,
think
you do
they did a
have like the
really
cool.
good job
I'm sorry, what were you
with the
saying?
Dio fight. I feel like both the OVA and the anime do a really good job with the Dio fight.
Yeah, I have to admit though that I didn't really like how like for some reason they were just able to do like Dragon Ball Z flying in the anime. When in the manga it was more like they were kind of falling, but for some reason in the anime it makes them look like they're flying.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. I haven't seen all of the Dio fight in the anime, but I've seen parts of it.
Yeah. Like honestly, like the stuff they do in the Dio fight when like Dio full on throws a boat at Jotaro, like, and then Jotaro throws like the spire of a tower and like breaks through the walls of the tower, and then Dio just lands on a bus and just kills a bunch of just random people for no reason. Like, also you get pretty meme-worthy moments where Dio is like on the ground and like he's looking at Joseph and Kakyoin swinging from like the rooftops, and then like, but it's supposed to be like, he found them, but then there's just a giant 7-Up sign, so it makes it look like Dio is just craving 7-Up. I honestly wait one second. I need to find this image. Dio 7-Up. It's so funny out of context. Oh, it's a GIF. Like the OVA has its moments. Also, the fact that I like that they got rid of the lipstick in they got rid of the lipstick in like his high form. Are you still there?
I'm here. I was waiting for the cat.
Oh, he's like, yeah, 7-Up.
You can't even see Joseph and Kakyoin.
You can't.
In that GIF.
I mean, it has.
It just goes 7-Up.
Ah, the refreshing taste of 7-Up. But then you get to the dub, and then you get moments where like they don't know how to pronounce Hierophant, so like you get people saying Hierophant, and then Dio is like, it's Kakyoin's Hierophant. Also, I love how non-menacing Dio's English voice sounds. Like, he sounds like a smarmy CEO business guy, where he's like,
it's kind of messing its own right.
Yeah, where he's like, Jonathan's body is sending signals to his descendants, and it's like, that's not intimidating. He doesn't sound like he just found out that he's able to kill people. It sounds like he... I don't even know what it sounds like.
It just sounds.
Yeah. Like, he sounds like he would be the person who's like, you know, Jotaro, we live in a society.
We live in a society where gamers don't rule the world.
We live in a society where gamers rule the world, JoJo.
Jotaro Kujo.
Jotaro Kujo.
Want to hear a joke, Jotaro Kujo?
Want to hear a joke? Right before he throws the knife at Dio, he does like the you get what you deserve.
You get what you fucking deserve.
Can we talk about something real quick? I want to entertain the theory that Joseph would absolutely body Part 1 Dio. Like, in all honesty, he would body Dio in a part.
Well, he transfers Hamon through objects, right?
Well, I want to say like original Part 2 Joseph versus Part 1 Dio.
I think we've had this discussion before.
We probably have. I don't know. I like to imagine that without the world, Dio is pretty much like a loser to Joseph.
Yeah, like, doesn't Joseph just transfer Hamon through objects and just murk Dio?
Pretty much. I feel like he would do that. Like, he could pretty much just pull... Well, no, he wouldn't be able to pull what he did on what's-his-face? On Straights.
ACDC.
No, on Straights.
Yeah.
Because that Straights killed himself with his own Hamon. I mean, what was the wired guy that he fought? Like, the door person? Do you remember that?
Who?
Like, right after Caesar died, and right before they were going to confront, Cars and Wamu. Like, there was just a door vampire that showed up.
Right, in Wamu's room, right?
Yes, I want to say. Like, it was like immediately after Caesar died.
I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was just some random vampire who's like, I'm a door person.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of actual vampires he killed, but he didn't do a lot. It was mainly just the Pillarmen. Also, I think that the fact that Part 1 Dio would absolutely just, like, lose to all of the Pillarmen.
Oh, yeah. He's basically just a regular vampire.
Pretty much. I mean, like, I also...
I mean, he's much stronger than a regular vampire, but at the end of the day, he's a vampire. He's just a vampire.
Yeah. Also, like, I've heard the theory that, like, Cars, AC/DC, and Wamu all have, like, some form of, like, latent stands. And that their powers, like, the powers of, like, the bloody veins, like, the wind manipulation, and the light... Maybe not the light blade, but maybe the light blade, are all part of, like, subconscious stands.
Honestly?
I feel like that wouldn't be too out of the question.
I kind of wish... Part of me kind of wishes that they really kind of stuck with, like, the Hamon and vampires and stuff, and intertwined that into the world of stands more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been cool.
I think that would have been cooler, and created more interesting combinations of stands and stuff.
Yeah.
Because what I really like about the stands in Part 3 is they're simple. Is that their abilities are simple on paper, so you have to get creative with how you use them.
Yeah.
I feel like in some of the later parts from the tier list we did, some of them just get too oddly specific.
Right.
And to the point where, like, what do you do with these?
Yeah.
But with a lot of the stands in Part 3, I feel a lot of the stands in Part 3 do kind of suck.
Yeah,
like
a lot
from
of
the
them do.
tier list.
Yeah.
But the main protagonist stands, I feel, the stands of like important people, I feel.
Yeah.
Like the protagonist, Dio. I feel they're simple, but like flexible.
Yeah.
And that's what I like.
Also, like, legitimately, I think Silver Chariot might be like Jesus Christ, like let me get that, because you think about it, it's like, oh, he just stabs people, but no, when you look at it, like, he's one of the fastest stands in the actual series. Like, I feel like he would have been able to kill Diavolo if he didn't, like, essentially, like, just like cheese him with King Crimson.
Oh yeah, Diavolo would probably get murked by a lot more if he couldn't cheese so hard with King Crimson.
Yeah, like, honestly, I do feel kind of salty that Polnareff ended up technically dying in part 5. Cause like, bro, he came back. Like, I feel like everyone's reaction to the episode where they show like the teaser, not essentially a teaser, but they show Polnareff looking at them through the binoculars, and the only indication that you have from Polnareff is his tall ass hair, is just like the best scene, where it's like, oh, yo, it's Polnareff.
That must have been so cool.
Oh, it was so awesome, because that whole fight, like, that was the whole Green Day and Oasis fight, and that whole fight itself was incredibly intense, with the fact that pretty much the entirety of Rome was just in chaos, and then they just cap off the episode with just Polnareff, and it was just like, oh, that's amazing.
I think I actually gotta head out now.
Oh, alright.
I think I have some stuff I need to do.
Alright, well, I'll talk to you later.
It was awesome being on the stream. Thanks for inviting me, man.
You're welcome. I'm gonna
so
upload
next
this
up,
later.
Could I share with the chat what our plans are?
Yes.
Next up, Joseph's planning on setting up an emulator for Pokemon White, and he's gonna do his first Nuzlocke, I think.
Yeah, I've never done a Nuzlocke.
It just goes into White. You're going to this game completely blind, right?
Uh-huh.
So he's doing a blind Nuzlocke of Pokemon White, and I'm gonna be helping him out along the way.
I'm excited for that.
Me too. When do you think? I know I asked before stream.
I want to say, like, probably next weekend. I should be able to have this ready.
I'd be so down. I could give you maybe some tips beforehand.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. Alright.
Well, I'll catch you soon.
See you.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Have a great night, my dude.
You too.